Chefs are heroes of the kitchen, and today we've got one who's spent 43 years mentoring, training and cooking. We've got Chef Peter Ray from Sky City. He's the one, if you're looking to win a chef competition or a world skill, he's trained hundreds and hundreds of chefs. Today we've been very lucky because he's here to show us some of the skills. So are you ready to ignite the chef in you?
What I'm going to do today is prepare Moroccan style lamb cutlets. We'll flavour the couscous. We've got cinnamon, we've also got garnish of dates and coriander with toasted pine nuts, a ras el hanout spice. This is Moroccan. Ras el hanout actually meant top of the shop. They got all the spices together and they made one spice out of it. When we prepare it, we can actually cut down through between the bones for meat, and that's why I'm trying to keep everything separate. Any scraps you have, even fat, we can render that down for something later. We can use it for frying, for dressings. Not a lot of people do that nowadays, but fat like this imparts flavour. So we just go down between the bones, carefully watching your fingers. Normally use the back of the knife and you use the edge. We've just got our lamb stock reducing as well. You can put rosemary in there, infuse it with herbs and spices. Some people use a clean cloth as well to scrape the bit of sinew and that on the bones. So now what we can do is we can actually cut. Thigh bone's been removed, portion through the middle of the bones. So it's basically a reduction, and all we're doing is basically it's impurities. Normally around a lot of onions you have that piece on top. We just cut around there. So we're just going to dice this onion now, and then we cut crossways, but we always use the knife. So just carefully. Israeli couscous, the small one. You can also cook it in stock. You can put a little bit of salt, but we're going to season later. Couscous is you can put all sorts of stuff in it. Chop the mint, 10 leaves of coriander, 10 leaves of mint. We're going to crush the garlic first with our French chef's knife. Cut the garlic, and then you take the little inside out. So the next job, we're going to dry toast our pine nuts. Give it some acidity. A little bit of oil, canola oil. We'll put a little bit of butter in there. Put in our onions, and then that comes off the heat. We can also put other things in here. So all those flavours now, the caramelisation and the nuttiness of the pumpkin. So we just combine all those flavours. Normally when you chop herbs, for something like this, you make them quite fine. Pepper also gives dishes heat. Sesame seeds, normally white sesame seeds. The black sesame seeds will also give it some texture. The sheep's feta is salty and it's quite acidic. You put a little bit of olive oil and then you mix the two together. Yeah, that's what we're after. So now I'm just preparing the garnish with as well some heirloom tomatoes. There should be sufficient amount of sauce. Still seasoned with some salt. There was fresh nutmeg and it still had the mace on the outside. You see all different herbs and spices. That's the good thing about cooking. If you're really interested in being a chef, you pick up so much stuff. How do we tell when meat's cooked? You peel the meat.
This looks wonderful. Can you give us 3 tips which we need to take care if you're making this dish?
With the lamb cutlets, as long as you prepare them properly, when you cut you make sure all the same size. Imparting the salt, the pepper, the ras el hanout spice. Obviously when you're cooking it in the canola oil, that's a fairly neutral oil. Maybe do all your veg and stuff first, clean your board, and then do your meat. Put it on a nice dish, easy.
So I like Peter Ray's tagline, keep it simple, stupid.